to render well. So you can tell when someone's learning to render really well. Like they can render marble so it looks like marble. You know, this is how you can tell. They start getting really bored. It's, you know, it's still cool. I still get a kick out of when I do a good little rendering, but it's not like it used to be. When I was first starting out, I was like, and you want to render because, man, it looks so cool. And your friends look at it and they go, oh, that's so cool. And then you learn how to do it right. And you're like, oh, God. And your friends are going, oh, that's so cool. And you go, yeah. And that's when you know you're learning how to render well, because it kind of bores you. Because here's the actual answer. Rendering is a mechanical process. It's a mechanical process. It's not much different, really. It's an analog camera. You know, you're looking at something and reproducing it, looking at something and reproducing it. And if you reproduce it correctly, it looks exactly right. And if you don't, it doesn't. You know? Now, so a lot of when I teach rendering is just showing people that no, what they thought was right isn't quite right. You need to fix that edge. And they fix it and it looks perfect. And then they go, oh. You know, so now the problem with teaching something like that is mechanical processes are kind of boring to learn. They're not that exciting. So it's a challenge to come up with an assignment that is a little more artistic or feels like, you know, the worst thing is a teacher makes you render a still life and you render the still life and you go, and they go, yeah, and you never want to show it to anyone. So I wanted to come up with a project that when you finish it, people would actually go, oh, dude, that's cool. And they, you know, you'd want to show it to people or submit it for a contest or something like that. That's what this is about. Anyway, so the specimen project, it was kind of inspired. Well, actually, I'm doing it out of order. This is the assignment. Take two objects that don't belong together and combine them in an interesting way so they look like they actually could exist that way. You know, and it was inspired by this place, and I'll show you some examples. This is Musée des Paléontologies in Paris. And I took some students to Paris for a few years as a summer class, and they had this building, and honest to God, it's a building that, it was built for the 19th century, a late 19th century World's Fair, I think, or some centennial, some exhibition, something like this. I don't think they have done anything other than dust. And even that is questionable. Because this building looks straight out of the 19th century to this day, except for the occasional sign like this. See all these cases over here? There is the weirdest stuff in those cases. You know, some of them have things like, oh, here's a, you know, a two-headed kitten. Here's a one-eyed something, you know, cyclopsian, you know, things. And oh, here's the skeleton of a turtle, which is really strange looking, if you've never seen a skeleton of a turtle. You know, so they have this, because these are whale skeletons, you know, that they have in the lobby, or the downstairs. Yeah, but they'll have these whale skeletons, and then they have this head, you know, of the guy who put it all together. You know, it's just a random weird place. And honestly, if you walked in and you saw a crowd of men in black and top hats and walking with canes, and you saw women with parasols and big dresses, you would not bat an eye. It looks exactly like that. Okay, a lot of the cards in these cases, you know, are little hand calligraphy cards. You know, or it's weird, but it's so cool. So this place kind of helped me think of a good rendering assignment for this class, which is to take these things and combine them, because it's almost like these 19th century cabinet of curiosities, things that someone found somewhere and it looks cool. And I'll show you some examples now. Here's the upstairs, though, first. Yeah, there's students running from the dinosaurs. And you know, they have these wrought iron balconies. It's just very cool. Okay, so here's the assignment. Here are some examples. Okay, see now, the way I'm seeing some of you guys react, where you're like this, we're going, oh. Okay, that's how I want someone to react that's what no, don't worry, I'll get you there. No, but that's how I want people to react to yours, and this is why I'm introducing this and giving you a couple of weeks to think. These are all from my class, yeah. Okay, these are from past students. In fact, well actually I'll get to it in a second. There are 2 of them from people in this crowd. Ruby coats. No, so anyway, now what's great about this for a rendering project is it's perfect for teaching you guys rendering, and it's perfect for teaching you guys about surfaces. Because how do you make lizard skin look like lizard skin? How do you make a dragonfly wing look like a dragonfly wing? You know, these are technical challenges that are really not that difficult. And I'll show you exactly how to do it. And it's not hard. It's just you've got to do it a certain way. You know, but what I would have you guys notice as we look at these, how they're presented, the lettering, the character, how you look at some of them and you go, ooh, okay, that's what I'm looking for from you guys as a sketch around April 8th. Is I want you guys to put a sketch up that makes people go, oh, that's going to be cool. Okay, so here are some others, like from Mr. Coates. Beetle, bird. All right, great type. One of the better type versions on here. It doesn't. I have to say, I'm getting a little tired of wings. There are a lot of winged ideas, so I would kind of encourage. I'm no offense, Rachel. I'm getting a little bit sick of dragonflies. I'm getting a little sick of wings.
We had so many dragonflies in high school.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I kind of like you guys to expand beyond that. We'll talk about that later, but anyway, so you get the idea, though. Kind of cool. Bad type, but good pug. This is Miss Rubchek in the back there. Great type up there. Good type here. Nice dragonfly one, though, especially considering the reference.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, what I like about this as a rendering project is it is about rendering, but do you see that these feel believable? You know, because they're rendered so well that the surfaces are selling you on it, and then you go, man, that would feel weird if you ate that thing. Ow, ow, ow. You know, but it looks believable. You know, really nice rendering job here by Desiree. The Chiquita specimen. Nice wing. Wow, that's a wing. Now, what I like about this one, and this is for some of you who have already reacted to this, what I like about this one, first of all, it's a good idea. Second of all, the person who did this one, he was worried about signing up for our major and signing up for my class because he had never had a drawing class before and he didn't know how to draw and he was worried that he would be totally outclassed. You know, and wouldn't be able to do it. And I said, no, I can teach you how to draw. I can teach you how to render. You know, and this was about, what, we did it a little bit earlier, so it was like maybe about 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the semester, and this was the first class he had ever had in drawing. So you guys, rendering is mechanical. I can show you exactly how to do it. You know, now he's having some problems there to my eye. Yeah, there's still some rendering issues, but that was, you know, he had no experience before this class. So I can help you do this. Oh, this is a key thing. When you guys are coming up with these ideas, do not reject any idea because you don't know how you would do it. Okay? Come up, you don't know enough to know which things are hard and which things are not. You're going to have ideas. This happens every semester. Students have ideas that they choose because they think, oh, that'll be easier. No, it's not. Because they don't know about this or this or this. They don't see that. And I can look at it and know exactly how hard it is and whether, here's the thing, I will tell you if it's out of your league. And I will tell you if there isn't a way to do this. But there's almost always is a way to do it, but you may not know that. So like for something like this, where are you going to get a submarine? for reference. I can help you with that. I don't have a summary handy, but I can show you how to get the reference for one.
I was gonna say, John, what do you think?
Yeah, actually, I do have some strange friends, though. Actually, I do know a guy who has a submarine. I actually do, now that I think about it. I don't live near him, but he does have a submarine.
So do we have to have, do we have to have a physical object?
You will not have a physical object. We will be working from photo reference for these. And we will, and that's something, that's gonna be a whole part of the project. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about the right way and the wrong way to gather reference, collect reference, shoot reference. You know, so we'll be talking about all this stuff. Okay. But you know, what I want you to notice that this is believable, and that when you first see it, you go, oh, you know, you have a reaction. That's a good project. You get their attention, you hold their attention, and you reward their attention. Wow, that was well said. I should say that every so often. Now, for the most part, I would like you to avoid puns. They don't usually lead to good projects, but this one did. In case you guys don't get it, fish tank. What made this one good, generally I would avoid the puns, because they usually end up with kind of weak solutions like Fat Boy, or, you know, things like that. I'm tired of those. But what made this one good, and I'll talk about this later, is the staging of it. Having the barrel of the gun come out of the mouth like that totally made the idea, staging-wise. And yes, we did find a real thing. This one's kind of dark, but it's good. Yeah.
So they don't have to be like animals or organic objects?
They don't have to be. I find people typically do some kind of animal. You know, I think people like doing animate objects more than inanimate. You know, but your goal is just to come up with a killer idea. You know, it could be anything though. Also, usually often a man-made object and a non-man-made object, or an animal object and a non-animal object. Often these kinds of juxtapositions of qualities make for a better idea generally. You know, like you'll notice some of the weaker ones are the ones that are just kind of like, they're a little too close. Like one of the weaker ones in this slideshow, I think from a conceptual standpoint, is the fish with the feathers, because they kind of just feel like fins. You know what I mean? It's not as striking as like the teeth and the stapler, you know, or ones like that. Some of those are more striking. Or like, I think the dog motorcycle one is really strong. You know, this one's really strong. That would be one scary bird coming at you. Jeez.
That's basically death.
You know what I'm imagining? I'm imagining these birds now. I just like this. I'm imagining them going, and poof. I love this one. That one kicks ass. Great rendering job too. What was that?
Fastest way to hurt someone.
Yeah. Ow. Okay. And then I also this next one is also one of my favorites. Whoops. Yeah. Well, you know, and so you guys, this is what I want you to be thinking about. Notice that what makes the good ones good is the contrast of ideas. Okay? You know, this one is great because we all want to pick it up and then go, out. Now, I'm going to show you some kind of, very quickly, I'm going to show you some loose inspiration for the types of things you should be thinking about, the types of things that you might have in the back of your head, just visually. You'll notice all these had different type, all these had different presentations, different staging. You know, I want you to kind of and notice that, the type sometimes feels weird, or it's on a little stand, or, the paper's foxing. That's what they call this spotting, is foxing. Or it has a weird random edge, or it looks like there's been some water damage here. So just look in general at these things. These are just miscellaneous